Hey guys, I am just going to be waiting for a couple more people to join and we'll get started. Hey guys, I am just going to be waiting. All right, well, I guess I will get started. There looks like there should be a few more people jumping in, but one of the things that I'm gonna do is for people who stay on during the live stream, I'm gonna give away, we're gonna do a quick giveaway for a product for any orders. So I can tell people how to get something for free just from us and attending the webinar. I can start a little bit on any quick questions that we have. I know there's a couple people in the chat. So if you guys want to ask your questions in the chat here, I will try and start responding to them. But I'll talk a little bit about who I am, who we are, maybe some initial things that maybe you guys didn't know about me. My name is Vlad. I am one of the owners here at QI and at Chi Supplements. Actually, that's the proper way to say it. And one of the things that we pride ourselves on is finding really good products throughout the world and bringing them to people. We have a lot of great partners throughout the world that we find these products, and we have a lot of research that goes beyond these products. So we really pride ourselves on being able to provide those. The couple of things about me, just as a FYI, I am not a doctor. I'm just kind of a businessman. This seemed like a great opportunity to help people from my personal experiences and from our family's experience, from what we've seen and tried. And this seemed like a good opportunity to help people, and we kind of jumped into it. It's been about 6 years already that we've been doing this. So, and people have really appreciated the help that we've been able to give. The company is located in the Seattle area. I live here. This is my house, so I'm doing this right out of my house in Federal Way. We have a couple people that work for us for shipping, and then we have a couple people that are on our team for customer service, which is G, Joseph, and Amira. So they're all helping us with our customer service. So once again, since I'm not a doctor, I cannot prescribe, I cannot assist with healing, with any diagnostics or anything. So yeah, I guess I will start on some questions. So we have a question that came in from us from Sharon. Has everyone that has tried the peptides has had success with improving telomeres and in general health? That's a great question. The peptides really do help with telomeres, but it's not going to be all the peptides. There's for telomere length, the peptides that I would recommend would be the pineal and the cartilage peptide, which is the endolutin and the sebumere. Those ones have shown to extend the telomere length. As far as has everyone that tried the peptides, I mean, telomeres length is really not something that everybody has the ability to measure. So I can't really speak on, every person, has had it. The people that have taken it for telomere improvement has had positive responses, but I can't give you a number of how many people have and haven't just because I don't have the data. General health, I mean, they're great for general health. The one thing, we have to realize is peptides only help if there's something wrong. So if there's nothing that is wrong with you, there's really not going to be an improvement, a significant improvement in health. So how peptides work is it triggers your stem cells. That's all it does, is it triggers your own body to heal yourself naturally. So when you take something like for your pineal, for your blood, for your cartilage, your stem cells get triggered and they get triggered to go repair those parts of your body. And they go in, they do a scan, and if everything is fine, then they really don't do anything. I mean, most of the times there is always something that is wrong, or not maybe wrong, but something isn't 100% perfect. In that case, it does repair it, but if it's not something that, is pain for you, you may not feel that response. The one other issue I've had with people that haven't had improvements, typically, very important is to be able to diagnose what you're trying to resolve. And you can do this just by, muscle testing and figuring out what your body really needs, and figuring out what is going to be your most important aspect. For example, and I brought this up on webinars last year, but a lot of issues can get stemmed from not sleeping well, right? And you can have bladder issues, energy issues, digestion issues, all from not having a good night's sleep. So if you are having an issue of not sleeping, or low energy, for example, don't necessarily say, oh, I need, my adrenals are fatiguing, I'm going to take the adrenal peptide. Give it a little bit more thought, muscle test and figure out what is going to be your issue. So, as far as, figuring out whether it's just sleep and you need to, do your pineal gland versus your adrenal gland. So, I see your question, April. I'll get to that after I get the questions from Sharon. Should be pretty quick. The dairy intolerant, and notice some peptides have dairy. That is something that I have been actually trying to get with the manufacturer. So the question is, I am dairy intolerant, and I notice that some peptides have dairy. Are there alternatives to these peptides? Unfortunately, I can't speak on every single peptide. There is about 6 peptides that are chemically synthesized. So there is a replacement for those 6. I don't remember off the top of my head which ones actually have dairy. We have been asking the factory to remove lactose from some of these products. And I actually seem to recall that maybe some of them are outdated and actually don't have lactose, but I will get that answer. Actually, I will write down this and get a confirmed answer on lactose, because I seem to have asked about this question. I think the answer was that they've removed lactose from the products, but I need to confirm, and I'll get back on that one. There are 2 peptides. Is there 1 or 2 peptides in dairy that I can feel? Because I do not want to sign up for the 3 months, and I find I'm intolerant of I find that I'm intolerant to the products. I think the pineal one, that's going to be the best one to try out. For everybody who's unsure, the pineal one is going to be the #1 thing to try, because pineal is kind of the core of your body. It helps with your immune system, it helps with sleep, it helps with energy, it helps with all the other products, organs working. So it's really important to make sure your pineal gland is functioning well. And it's usually one of the first ones that people try and have pretty good results with. As far as trying one, if in somebody's specific case, I would recommend finding something that you have a pain or something that you really needs improvement and trying that first. If you want to test it, try that first and see how you feel. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, there's two aspects that it could have not working. One, you do need to have a decent diet. That's crucial. You need to make sure you're having the right ingredients and nutrients in your body. I'm not saying, you have to go on a diet with no carbs, no protein, or nothing, but you need to have just the simple, nutrients you need to have in your system. But and having that, and then making sure your dosage is correct. If you have something that is a significant impact or a significant pain, and I say pain, not physical pain, but pain as in, you could have a really, really hurt heart, right? So, and that causes you maybe, causes you aching and tiredness. So that could be your pain. So something that kind of really impacts you. So that's the one you want to try first. And then question number 4 from Sharon is going to be, do you recommend the regular pituitary supplement or the more expensive one? Honestly, it depends on your situation. If you really have a significant pituitary, you need a significant bump on your pituitary, I recommend the more expensive one, because that one you take once for the whole year. And pituitary is one that does actually extend your life. So if you want to be taking, they just had a 15-year study on life expectancy, and they actually had it proven that it had a life expectancy. I can send a link to the study that they did. But if you want to take this for maintenance for, you're going to take it throughout the whole year, the more expensive one may be cheaper. But there's only a limited amount of those expensive ones. They're no longer manufacturing them. So I'm not sure. We have a little bit of expired stock that we're trying to sell, but once they're out, I'm not sure when the next one's going to be. But the regular one is great. So, if you want to just do the regular one for just, going into your bundle packs, that's usually the best option. I will go to your question, April. Okay, would you please speak about your lung peptide products? I'm interested in them for my COPD, which is a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Or diseases. So what the lung peptides do is they're very, so they go in and they will repair essentially all of your lungs and nodes. So there's 2 different essentially products for the lungs. We have the bundle, which what it does is it combines blood, forgot the other one, blood, lung, and I think it's, I want to say central nervous system. Just looking it up really quick. And with the respiratory system, one of the main important things is making sure you combine it with the right products. If you're dealing with a disease, I would highly recommend, doing a bundle. So, because it does help, you want to make sure you're supporting your lungs with, the proper, the proper peptides. And I'm trying to look it up, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's your thymus. So they have the thymus, lung, and blood. Those are the 3 that they recommend for combining for your for respiratory systems. So, and essentially, they're going to work very similarly. It's going to trigger your stem cells, and they're going to go in and figure out the issue. The one thing that I would, consider is if you are, this is a chronic issue, right? Which, COPD typically is a bit more chronic than just, having a cough or something. You probably want to increase the dosage to probably 4 capsules of the lung peptides. That's what I would recommend. And see how that works. So actually, since we're talking about dosage, I'll speak a little bit about that. So for dosage, typically how we recommend dosage. The standard dosage that is recommended is 2 capsules once a day. The way that you could break it up, it is going to be more efficient to take those 2 capsules twice a day, meaning 1 capsule twice a day, but still taking 2. General, that's the baseline for most people. If there is something that is more chronic, that has more severe issue, or people have a disrupted digestive system where they're not being able to suck all of the nutrients from the digestive system, typically that's when we bump up to 4. There is another school of thought by some physicians that use these for their patients, is starting out with a higher dosage at the very beginning and drawing it down. The other item you can do is you can also start, if there is a synthetic peptide that helps with this, is starting them off on a synthetic peptide, or starting off on the synthetic peptide and then rolling over to the organic peptides. So the synthetic peptides, the benefits for those is they start working faster, but they don't work longer term. So they have a shorter efficacy. But the organic peptides, they take slower to work. So you need to build it up in your system a little bit for them to really start working well. But that does take, that does stay in your system a bit longer. But if you want that kind of first hit with a higher impact at the very beginning, typically the synthetic peptides is what is recommended to start with. So we can go to the next one. So the next one I have, it was kind of more of a testimonial. So, but apparently they had really good luck with Zoibin during a viral infection. So, so we have a question from a Jennifer. It's regarding being very tired and not being able to drink any caffeine. And acid reflux, heart murmur. So the couple of things I would recommend, I mean, caffeine is obviously not good for you, but I drink coffee. I think everybody drinks coffee. As far as, being able to wake up, the couple of things that I have personally had that helped with having a little bit more energy is oxalacetic acid, actually, which we sell in a form of Benadryl. That is something that really helps me boost up my energy. So, and if you have if we have in the morning, what really helps is being able to take that in the morning. And for me, it feels like a cup of coffee. So that's what I would recommend for energy. I mean, the other thing is you want to make sure you have good rest. That's kind of the first places I would look, is making sure at home you have a good situation where you're resting, you're going to sleep at a good time. And if that's not helping, you can go to the supplementation aspect of going in and probably start with your pineal gland, because your pineal gland is what is responsible for production and maintaining your melatonin levels. So if you're not having a good melatonin production, that really helps on making sure your body can manufacture your own melatonin and fall asleep. The other thing is, if you don't want to be spending the $60, or it's going to be probably about $180 to go through, through a pineal, the proper way of fixing it. You can also, we have MZS melatonin, which is really good because it lasts throughout. It actually helps your whole body stay in rhythm, and it doesn't have a crash that you have on the next day. So, and then, as far as being tired, that's really something you really got to figure out. What is the issue of your tiredness? She has, the person has a heart murmur. Is it your heart that's causing you not being able to sleep? Is it, your melatonin? Is it your bed's not comfortable, right? You could spend all this money on supplementation where you're not addressing the core issue. It could be an exhausted adrenal gland. So all those things, and it really helps, to maybe get some testing done. So one of the things that Dr. Audrey always recommends is being able to get your hormones tested and see what you're lacking, to be able to figure out which one of your glands aren't functioning right. And obviously, starting with, reducing your stresses, and, there's a whole mental aspect to this that I probably recommend. So I have a question, which I'm gonna state it, but I'm not gonna answer it. Naturopath suggested pellets as a hormone treatment. What are your thoughts on pellet treatment? So since I'm not a doctor, I cannot answer that question, unfortunately, because if a doctor recommended something, they know best. I cannot, I can't speak on anybody's specific situation. But if the doctor suggested it, I don't know. The only thing that I would say, the one outside of the situation, we do have hormone. Well, if your glands are functioning properly, they can produce proper hormones. So that would be one thing, is making sure your glands are functioning properly. If they're not functioning properly, you could have a hormonal issue where, that gland is not producing the right hormones for you. So, that is kind of all the questions I had. So about 25 minutes, not bad. One of the things I will say, everybody who's joined, I'm going to have this kind of promotion for a free product. If anybody places any order for anything, could be $5, $10, whichever, and you add the PIA that we have, which is so we have two different PIAs, which I know makes it kind of confusing, but we have a PIA product that is for concentration. It is, trying to find it out. So it's not the palm one, it's the, oh, perfect question, Nicole. Sorry, I didn't see all the questions pop up. So muscle testing, that's kind of a tough one. Muscle testing is essentially, they call it kinesiology. So, and essentially, the way I treat it, and this is kind of my personal take, but there's a lot of recommendation on this. I just really try to get in one tune, and with my body, and just figuring out what is needed. the idea of it is you squeeze your bicep and you kind of see, you kind of ask questions on your body and see how it responds. So if that helps, that's what a lot of people, I personally don't do muscle testing for myself, so I can't really explain it perfectly, but I know a lot of people has had really good experience with muscle testing. Let me just 1 second. I just have people joining in. I need to make sure everybody's muted. Personally, I have more of a mental, where I mentally ask myself, what is something that I need? And you kind of get a response from that. So kind of something that I was taught by my my therapist. All right, there we go. Sorry, it just, everybody is joining now. And I wanted to make sure. Okay. Brain fog. So, man, causes of brain fog, that's a long one. It could be a lot of times brain fog. Oh, actually, here we go. There's a great link that was posted on muscle testing. So I will send that out actually after the meeting. Okay. Brain fog. So brain fog, it's really complicated. Brain fog could be caused by stress, could be caused by anxiety. It could be caused by just not ability to, not, lack of sleep, lack of energy. The one thing, what I would recommend on brain fog is, the most important thing is making sure you are okay, right? The mental aspect of you, the ability to process information and being able to register the stresses and properly respond to it. There is a second aspect where you can help with brain fog. You could also use supplements to help with brain fog. But the big key important is making sure you're handling your mental health properly to help get rid of that. But second aspect for me, what always helps with brain fog is going to be benagine, which is oxaloacetate. I take pineal for brain fog because pineal helps me sleep better. And usually that's my cause of lack of sleep. And then ultimately it's going to be, and benagine. So like we talked a little bit before, benagine for me is amazing. I don't always take it. So one of the things that I will explain that I've always talked about to everybody who I talk to on the phone or email is even though I kind of sell supplements, I don't recommend taking supplements all the time. I don't recommend taking I recommend stopping them. If you're going to take a supplement for the entire year, take a break for a month. If you're going to take it or figure out a system that works for you. Some people do 5 days on, 2 days off. Some people do 1 month on, 1 month off. One of the important things is being able to let your body try to get into its own rhythm. So, and if you are, because supplementation is meant to help your body, but the best case of supplements is the ones that you take. It helps you get your body to your level, and then you wean off of them and you're fine. So that's kind of the reasons I stopped taking supplements, is because I let my body kind of work on itself, right? If you keep pushing it and kicking it to go forward, what happens often is your body starts getting dependent on supplements. And when you start taking supplements off after you've taken them for 5 years, your body starts not functioning well. So what I always recommend is just, stopping for a period and just letting your body try to work itself. And if you feel like your body is going to keep needing, or you feel better with supplementation, I mean, it's still good for that pause, and you can go back on the supplements. And same thing on so that works with everything, right? Peptides weren't meant to be taken constantly. It's meant to be for short bursts. Take it for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months, depending how critical your situation is. And then you pause, and then you take, in a year, you take in a maintenance dosage. So let's next question, April. Which of your peptide product bundles would you consider to be broad spectrum anti-aging? That's a great question. So there's 5 peptides that I like to consider to be the core peptides. So these products are going to be recommended for everybody, whether or not you have issues or not. The 5 peptides, and I'm going to list them in order of how I feel like the importance is, but it's going to start with the pineal peptide. So pineal, thymus, which is going to be responsible for your immune system, blood, and that should be a simple one because you have blood everywhere, and being able to transmit even the peptides with your blood is going to help efficiency of your peptides, and efficiency of supplements and nutrients, and just regular food. And after that, I'm going to recommend Sigomir, which is going to be your central nervous system peptides, for the same reason as the blood one. It's it's how all your organs function. It's how all the information gets to and from your organs, and how everything works. And then the last one is going to be the cartilage peptide. Cartilage peptide is going to be the big anti-aging one. It helps not with just your bone cartilage. It's going to help with skin, your nails, hair. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So as well as your cartilage and joints, and any soft tissue that you have inside your body. But and like I've mentioned before, the Sigomir is the one that actually has shown to extend telomere length. So that's going to be a big anti-aging one. The other thing actually with telomeres, Benagine, sorry, I keep talking about it. I really do love the product. I've actually got to meet Al Cash a couple months ago, or a couple of years ago at one of the conventions. The guy is super helpful, and super, but with his product, what it does. So if you look at the Krebs cycle, oxalic acid is the critical acid that helps with your cell multiplication, right? When your cells split, it uses that acid in that Krebs cycle. What happens, and how this was explained to me, is your body has a certain reservoir of that acid in its system. Once, as you get older, you start getting it less and less. So, in the way that, Al Cash explained it to me, is that essentially the older you get, the more errors you start getting in your DNA. So, and those errors are going to shorten your telomeres. So Benagine, what Benagine does is it helps supplement that acid, which helps with multiplication of your cells and helps with longevity. In reality, like as far as, that's what it happens on the inside, and that's something you can't really feel. The stuff that it does help, that is shown really on a lot of studies and a lot of personal experience. For me, it gives me energy, and gives me drive, and it gives me ability to concentrate. So I am able to focus into an issue or problem really well, and being able to really dissect a problem and solve a problem, where I would be so distracted by kids and then work and all kinds of stuff. The other thing that it helps is it helps with blood sugar. That is actually one of the best parts about the Benagine, is it helps, and they're actually, so it helps to a certain level that they're actually looking to make Benagine a medication for blood sugar. So in higher dosages, it really helps people get their diabetes under control. So, so I'll stop on Benadryl because I know I've already talked about it enough, but I really do love the product, and we're actually just sold out of it. So we should have more of it in a couple of days. Got another question from the chat here. On I took the kidney peptides for 2 months, but stopped when I did not see any improvements in my blood test. Is it worth trying again? One thing I would recommend is really trying to figure out what is your kidney issue. Is it just bad kidneys and what's causing it? What is causing your kidney to be bad? That could be one of the issues. Is there could be another aspect of your kidneys, and one of the aspects that I've been doing a bit of research on is I know when your adrenals are fatigued, they seep adrenaline into your kidneys. So, looking at things like that, is your adrenals maybe seeping in and causing your kidneys to have issues? So what I would recommend is maybe doing a quick, this doesn't have to be a 2-month period, but doing like a 10 or 20 day of the pineal and the adrenals with your kidney, and just see if you have any improvements. If you start feeling any better, that's kind of what I would say, just to see if that helps. But I wouldn't necessarily do exactly the same thing as you did, because if it didn't work, that means there's something. It might not be just your kidneys. So take a look, I guess, a little deeper. So next question from Sue in the chat, we have, can Benadryl taken in the afternoon if that is when the tiredness comes on? Yes, it can be taken in the afternoon. Like a cup of coffee, I wouldn't recommend taking it later in the later in the afternoon. But you can experiment with it and see how it is. Some people have reported not being able to go back to sleep if they take it too late in the day, like after 3 or 4. So that's kind of the one thing I will say. Let me just check our see if we have any other questions anywhere else. Okay, looks like all the questions have been answered. I'll tell you guys a little bit of my own story of what really helped me, how the peptides really helped me on, and this was just a couple of years ago. I know some people have already heard this story. I already see some people that I recognize from, that we've talked quite a bit on. But for me, the big change that I've had is, I've taken these peptides previously, and I've taken these products, since we started selling them, really about 6 years ago in 2015. We were the first company to bring these into the United States. But I had a big situation 2 or 3 years ago. I had a big car accident. I just kind of moved into this house that we bought with my wife. And I was driving early in the morning. I was supposed to drop off my kid, but ended up not having to grab him. And I was in a little Mini Cooper. It was a car that I really enjoyed. And driving, sitting in traffic here, in the Seattle area, traffic is pretty bad in the morning at 7 a.m. Sitting in traffic, I'm parked in the carpool lane, which I'm in the fast lane, and the carpool lane is just flying by at 70, 75 miles an hour. And I'm kind of paying attention because so in case nobody knew, I like racing. I drive. I have hundreds of track hours on the racetrack. So I have some trophies and stuff like that back there. But one of the things that, so I was sitting in traffic, and I'm paying attention to my mirrors, and I see on my driver's side mirror, there's a car just booking, was a SUV, and a car jumps out in front of him and plows into him. The car starts sliding and flips over and essentially flips onto my Mini. I get taken into the hospital because from what I feel, my shoulder was destroyed or hurt. So I couldn't move my hand. They take me to the hospital. And what ended up happening over the next couple of weeks is they've been diagnosed. My tendons that support my collarbone are ripped off, so ripped apart, and the top joint, so not your ball joint that moves your shoulder, but the top joint that helps keep the trigonometry of your shoulder. Things like golf or any strenuous activity, lifting heavy things. I kind of essentially lost function of that. So after about a month of figuring out what exactly was wrong and if this was going to self-fix or not, I ended up getting into surgery and ended up having to install new tendons to fix all this. And as you can see, it's pretty much gone away. And the coolest thing is, surgery was bad. I hated it. It was not fun. Don't recommend it for anybody. And the biggest thing with the surgery, you're being pumped with a ton of drugs and a ton of things that cause problems down the line, especially mental issues. So I ended up, in pretty heavy depression, pretty heavy mental stuff that I had to deal with. And what kind of ultimate, and as soon as my peptide, as soon as I finished off the surgery, the first thing I jumped on is I start taking all the peptides. And I started taking them a little bit before, but I started taking the cartilage peptide because, this is all soft tissue, the pineal, thymus, central nervous system peptides, and as well as Benegene, stem cell works, brain cell works, because I had issues with my brain post such an operation and such an impact. And one of the coolest things is I had the surgery in, I want to say July or June. I had the surgery in June, and by September, so that's July, August, September, that's 3 months, I was fully recovered. I could drive, I could walk, I could lift heavy things. I was trying to still build up muscle tissue to be 100%, but I did physical therapy, and with the physical therapy, I only took essentially 2 months of physical therapy to get me to 100%, which was pretty incredible. And all the doctors and everybody, everybody said it's going to be at least 6 months to a year for you to be able to function back to how you were. So that's kind of my story. And then unfortunately, my brother had an incident in September of that year where he actually ended up falling off of a building, and his back had to be fused together. And he had a similar story, which will, maybe I'll have him talk about it, but he had a similar response. And he had a full recovery from his, or not a full, but a really substantial recovery, where he could walk after probably 3-4 months after back surgery. So, and the doctors really said that this is a miracle. So those are kind of my personal 2 stories that has really helped me change, and helped me really show me that, the real proof. So we'll go to another question we have here in the chat. Can the Russian peptides be used in dogs? If so, what is the dosage? Actually, they can be. One of my longtime customers who's been buying from us from the very beginning, she had a dog that was dying from, I don't remember specifically what it was, parathyroid, I think is what it was. And she ended up giving the parathyroid medicine, or not the parathyroid peptides, to the dog, as well as a number of other ones of issues that the dog had. I think it was liver, prostate issues, all kinds of different issues. And she's actually had a really great success with them. And her dog ended up living for about 2 years longer than what originally they were supposed to be planned. Because I think originally the dog was only supposed to live for a few months, but ended up living for a few more years. So let's let one more person in. Next question I have is any ideas for fibromyalgia, ME, CFS, so chronic fatigue syndrome. So chronic fatigue syndrome typically is a malfunction. From what I've seen from people that have came with similar issues, is typically it's an underactive. I think it's not an. Is it from what I recommend? From what I've seen. Sorry, is it's an underactive adrenal gland. So, so I would recommend pretty much the core peptides for chronic fatigue. You know, making sure sleep is good, so pineal, adrenal, blood, central nervous system. So those kind of be the ones I'd recommend to try out. And you could always try it for a short term. Typically, in my experience, the responses happen within a week. So if it's something that can be felt, I mean, chronic fatigue, that would be pretty easy to feel. So if you haven't try it for a week, and if you get good improvements, then try keep taking it. So so the other question is fibromyalgia, so which is musculoskeletal pain. It's been a long day. For pain, I would recommend obviously probably muscle, cartilage, central nervous system, possibly adrenal. So that one kind of depends on and central nervous system. I'm not sure if it's the central nervous system. So another question here in the direct, will the adrenal peptides perform for both overactive and underactive adrenals? Yes. So that is actually the best part of the peptides. It doesn't matter if your adrenals are overactive or underactive. Same thing with your thyroid, right? There is people who have an overactive and an underactive thyroid. What it does, so peptides will get it back to zero, right? To how it's supposed to be. So if you have an overactive adrenal, it'll get it back to where it's supposed to be. If it's underactive, it'll get it back where it's supposed to. So same thing with the thyroid. Okay. We got a few more minutes. So if anybody else has any quick questions, you can throw them in now. I'll mention one more time. We do have a bit of a promotion I'm doing. We're actually giving away a free product if anybody wants it. And it's going to be the, I don't have it with me, but it's going to be the pure Pia phenolphthaleamine. So phenolphthaleamine is really good for mood, brain, and energy. So I take it when I need a big boost of energy. I've taken 3 at a time. I actually don't recommend taking 3 because it actually hits you pretty hard. Just taking 1 or 2 just helps get your mood up, get your feeling better, and helps with supporting your brain. So we're going to give it out for free. And the way you do that is you just add it into, you buy anything, $5, anything, any one item you purchase, add this in your cart and it will be free. So, so the big asterisks is this is only going to work until noon Pacific tomorrow. So if anybody is interested in trying it out, it's a free product. So works great. So, and April posted in the chat a lot of information about muscle testing. So I will copy that into my notes and I'll send it out as on Sunday when we gonna spread this out to everybody for everybody's information or for everybody's records. So that is it. If anybody has any quick questions, let me know. Raise your hand, unmute yourself. Testimonials, whichever, so we can whichever one you want. So going once, going twice. Sold. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining. I need a drink of water. I feel like it's been only me that has been talking. So, and we're going to try to do this once a month. I know it's been, so the reason we haven't been doing these, for everybody's information, I have a kid that we just had in February. Yeah, February 23rd. So getting up to having the kid, and after the, the kid's is now about 6 months. It's going to be 7 months. So I haven't been able to do these just because I've been, trying to take care of a newborn and sleeping and catching up to that. So, but I'm kind of back. So we're going to start doing these once a month. This one we decided to do without any guest speakers, but I'm going to try to get Aubrey here, maybe Al Cash, Spencer with the Zoidman products and the detox products. So, and I'll try to cover a broad range of topics. So, thanks everybody for joining, and I will stop recording and we can end this. Thanks everybody.